Gotcha.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Reva Chambliss, Vice Chair of the Transportation Committee. And today we are going to talk about several items. Our date is October 13th, 2025. And this meeting is called to order. We will begin with the Dakota Land, Water, and People Acknowledgement. The Metropolitan Council acknowledges that the land we currently call Minnesota, and specifically the seven-county region, is the ancestral homeland of the Dakota Oyate, who are present and active contributors to our thriving region. As part of the Metropolitan Council's commitment to address the unresolved legacy of genocide, dispossession, and settler colonialism, and the fact that government institutions, including the Metropolitan Council, benefited economically, politically, and institutionally after the forceful removal of the Dakota Oyate. The Metropolitan Council is dedicated to instilling land, water, and people commitments in regional policy. These commitments support the Dakota Oyate, the 11 federally recognized tribes in Minnesota, Ho-Chunk Nation, and the American Indian communities representing over 150 diverse tribal nations that call the seven-county region home. Our next item of business is approval of the agenda. If there are no changes to the agenda, we'll consider that approved. Our next item is to approve the September 22nd, 2025 Transportation Committee minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been seconded. And any discussion? Without any discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That minutes are approved. Our next item of business are our reports. And our first report is regarding Metropolitan Transportation Services, and we have Heather Giesel in place of Charles Carlson.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, committee members. I do not have a report this afternoon while Charles is out on vacation, so thank you.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. Metropolitan Transit General Manager, Leslie.
Thank you, Chair Chambliss, council members. I also did not bring a report today, but would be happy to take any questions if there are topics you want an update on.
Any questions? None, thank you. And we do not have a report today from the Transportation Accessibility Advisory Committee. So moving on, our next item of business is consent, where we have 6 items. Is there a motion to approve the items on consent?
So moved.
It's been moved by Councilmember Johnson and seconded by Councilmember Tony Carter. Any discussion? Without any discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That motion carries. We have 3 items of non-consent business for today. Our first item is 2025-246 Metro G-Line Real Estate Acquisition and Condemnation, Resolution 2025-23. And we have coming up Adam Smith for a presentation.
All right, thank you very much, Chair and committee members. I'm pleased to be able to provide an update on the G-Line Bus Rapid Transit project today, associated with the business item that will follow. So just a little bit of background on the G-Line corridor. It's the Rice and Robert Street corridor, about 11.5 miles from Little Canada Transit Station in the north to Dakota County Northern Service Center in the southern part of the corridor. It'll consist of 32 stations, and it's planned to mostly replace the existing routes 62 and 68 within the G-Line corridor. In terms of project delivery, a little bit of a unique approach to the G-Line. It'll be planned to open in 2 phases. The first phase from downtown St. Paul to Little Canada will open in 2027. Followed by the southern portion of the corridor opening the following year in 2028. And really this allows us to align with a number of coordinated projects along the corridor and as a unique opportunity because it is bringing together and improving those two routes, 62 and 68. Oops, excuse me. I did mention coordinated projects. There are quite a few along the G line. Here you can see them listed out, but at least two Ramsey County-led projects, two led by the City of St. Paul, and MnDOT-led project along Robert Street. So quite a bit of agency coordination with all of these projects, again, aligning design and construction as we move forward toward G-line implementation. Here's just a snapshot of the G-line schedule. I've highlighted a couple of key dates on here, which are really the primary council actions associated with the G-line. The first, identifying the line on the map, that is the G-line. That was done in 2021 as part of that Network Next initiative. And earlier this year, in March 2025, adopting the final corridor plan for the G-line, which set in place the intersections and corners of intersections where G-line platforms will be constructed. And so you can see that red dashed line indicating where we currently are in the process, just a little bit past halfway through our design phase. A number of those coordinated projects that I mentioned have already started construction this year, and then we'll look to begin construction on the major components of the G line in the later part of 2026. A little bit more detail on design. So right now is really the time in the process where we are looking at the placement of the standardized station features within each station context, that site-specific context, looking at what modifications might be required to the streets, sidewalks, utilities in each station area, making plans for construction staging and detours, as well as assessing easement and property access needs, which is related to that business item that will follow. So at this point in the project design process, we're not sort of reevaluating or revisiting station corners where the platforms will be. It's really getting to that more detailed design at this point. So part of this has been seeking feedback from staff, partner agency staff, and of course, members of the public, including transit users and station neighbors. And so, one of the key goals, in addition to getting specific design feedback on the stations, is also just establishing that continuous communication with folks along the corridor, building relationships, and just making sure that people are hearing from us, they're aware that construction is coming, and we're kind of keeping that consistent flow of information. And so as part of that, through our preliminary design public engagement, which occurred the early part of September through the early part of October, the project team has been out door knocking along the corridor, posting flyers, attending community events. We've sent out a lot of postcards and emails to folks. We held a virtual open house and had an interactive web map where we were taking comments. And so again, really, the success of this design engagement phase is partially the feedback on the specific design elements, but also really the number of people we've contacted and the broader relationships that we're building along the corridor. All right, so I mentioned a couple of the projects that are coordinated with the G line that have already started, that are being led by agency partners. Guessing council members might be familiar with the Robert Street Downtown project led by the City of St. Paul. So here's a photo of the Robert and 10th Street southbound platform in the G line. And I'll mention right now, we've advertised an invitation for bids for a contractor that will install the amenities and the systems associated with the 3 stations within this project, as well as one of the stations that is being constructed this year through the Ramsey County-led Rice Street Visioning and Reconstruction Project. So here's a photo of those platforms at Rice and Arlington. So in terms of the next steps, as I mentioned, we'll look to get a contractor on board to complete installation of the amenities at those stations that are being built this year through coordinated projects. And the rationale behind that is really so that those can start being used by local route customers between early 2026 and when the G line opens for service. So we want to make sure that people are benefiting from these improvements as soon as they can, and we're not just waiting until the G line is open to be able to use shelters and a lot of the improvements that are coming along with these stations. We'll continue to work, of course, with our agency partners along the corridor to finalize design agreements and execute those agreements into construction. As I mentioned, quite a few projects we're coordinating with along the corridor, negotiating and acquiring easements where they're needed, continuing to engage and work with station neighbors as we finalize design. And then, as I said, we'll look to begin major construction in the latter half of next year and begin service on that northern segment of the corridor in 2027, followed by the entire corridor beginning service in 2028. So I will stop there and entertain questions prior to bringing forward the business item.
Okay, there's a question from Councilmember Tony Carter.
Thank you. Thank you. Having been on the Ramsey County Board when this all started, I can't tell you how excited we are all about this project moving forward. So thank you very much for the summary today. I wanted to ask, as is typical with our projects, whether you could talk about any of the property access or acquisition easement concerns. I am, of course, wondering if there are any that are particularly complicated that we should be aware of. Would you mind just summarizing those?
Sure. Chair and council member. So we are in the phase right now where we are looking at where the easement needs are. At this point, we're looking at likely, about 25 to 30 temporary easements along the entirety of the corridor and 15 to 20 permanent easements. I'll say many of those are from parcels that are owned by other public agencies. So we would expect that most of those will go relatively smoothly. I'll also mention that we don't anticipate any fee acquisitions or relocations associated with the project. So in most cases, we're really talking about pretty small areas of land, either for construction access while a station is being built, or then to establish either a permanent sidewalk area where it needs to be placed, or station features that will be there, in the long run. So we don't anticipate anything particularly complex in terms of easement acquisition for the project.
That's lovely. Thank you very much.
Very good. Councilmember Tyrone Carter.
Just a comment. I just want to say I'm really impressed, and even though it's typical, it's still impressive to me the amount of preliminary design public engagement efforts, and it appears to be extensive and very layered, and thank you for that.
Thank you, council member.
Any other questions? Okay, you can proceed.
All right. So for business item 2025-246, it requests that the Metropolitan Council pass resolution 2025-23, declaring the Metro G Line project as a public purpose, authorizing acquisition of all real estate interests necessary for the project, and authorizing staff to initiate condemnation proceedings on behalf of the council for parcels that cannot be acquired by negotiation. So Metro Transit will lead construction of the G Line project, and the council's real estate office will lead acquisition efforts for the construction led by Metro Transit. As I mentioned, the project and its associated improvements are anticipated to require acquisition of up to 25 to 30 temporary easements and about 15 to 20 permanent easements from parcels along the corridor. There are no anticipated fee acquisitions or relocations associated with the project, and while we will make every effort to acquire property through direct purchase, passage of this resolution would provide authorization to acquire by condemnation if needed. So in conclusion, business item 2025-246 requests that the Metropolitan Council pass resolution 2025-23, declaring the Metro G Line project as a public purpose, authorizing acquisition of all real estate interests necessary for the project, and authorizing staff to initiate condemnation proceedings on behalf of the council for parcels that cannot be acquired by negotiation.
Is there a motion to approve the proposed resolution action?
I'll move that.
It's been moved by Councilmember Tony Carter, second.
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Osman. Any discussion? No further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That motion carries. All right, thank you, Adam. Our next item of business is 2025-255, Solid Waste and Recycling Contract with Jeff Freeman presenting.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, council members. Jeff Freeman, Sustainability Manager for Metro Transit, bringing forward business item 25-255 to negotiate and execute a contract with Waste Management in the amount of $1.1 million for waste and recycling services for a term of 3 years. As required by state statute and county ordinance, we are required to dispose of our solid waste and also have recycling services to support our operations, both within our support facilities and through our public facilities. We currently collect at about 20, we have about 26 account strings that are various accounts in play. This contract will expand that, but it's primarily due to segregating out the accounts so they're unique and for data tracking purposes. We had three proposers for this project. Waste Management, upon review, was deemed to be in the best interest of the council, demonstrated the best price through the pricing process, and is currently our current vendor as well as a vendor for environmental services. Therefore, today we're asking for the approval to go ahead and negotiate and execute this contract.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions or comments? Councilmember Tony Carter?
Just noting that there's no MCUT goals set on this with Waste Management, understandably as a contractor. Can you share why no MCUT goal would have been set with this area of business?
You want to help? Do you want to?
And I realize that's not yours to set.
Yeah, we got this.
Hi. Hi, Madam Chair, committee member, council member. Rob Carey from Procurement, filling in for Jody Jacoby, Chief Procurement Officer. So procurement works closely with our Office of Equity and Equal Opportunity to review the type of work that's going to be performed during the solicitation, and then have an analysis of whether or not they would establish a goal based on that type of service. And so the OEO review or evaluation of this project's performance of deliverables did not meet or match their standards to apply a goal. And that might be based on the number of MCUB firms that would be available or likely in this space being limited.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I'll just comment, I'll absolutely vote for the item. It was just a surprise to me, understanding the process of goal setting, that they're reviewing industry information and availability, that in this area of work, we would not find that availability. It was a surprise to me, but I appreciate it's gone through the regular process, and we will be voting for that. Thank you.
If I may,
Yeah, I had the same question.
Madam Chair, Councilmember Cutt, one of the challenges with waste services is the investment that a proprietor makes into the amount of equipment they have makes it very difficult to stay in the MCUB program, to be a DBE. Nobody leases waste trucks, so you have to own them outright. It's really hard for a small vendor to cover the amount of area we require in our contract and still become a small business entity.
Thank you.
Very interesting. Thank you for that explanation. Councilmember Tyrone Carter, did you have a question? No?
No, I was just wondering, I did have something, you kind of read my mind a little bit. But, so I was wondering, because you had the difficulty in that area, have they ever done any studies on trying to maybe shepherd or grow some small businesses in that area, or at least explore it and examine it, try to find out, are there other parts of the country, maybe they've done something to try to develop, because that's been an approach that's been taken in other areas where they would actually try to pilot and grow small business ownership in areas that weren't traditionally there.
Yeah,
Like as a sub, maybe
yeah,
vendor.
Madam Chair and Council Member, it really is for our Office of Equity and Equal Opportunity to speak on their small business program and the development of small businesses in spaces or areas of the market that are underrepresented. Yeah. And procurement is certainly happy to work with OEO and Metro Transit or other divisions on establishing the type of project solicitation that we put out and whether it has those goals or not.
So that's a long reach. Okay, all right.
Councilmember Johnson.
Yeah, thank you for those questions, because when I read it too, I had those questions, but we see a lot of, oh, I'm sorry.
No, you didn't hear that.
Oh,
Good.
Okay,
Machine's taking-
yeah, no worries. We, at the management committee, we get a lot of contracts too coming through procurement and then OEO. And so I know Shante and they would be happy to sit down and talk about that, because we press on that quite a bit ourselves in management, and not all of the contracts come through management, but that's something that we're always looking at too and working as closely as we can. And so there's a lot more progress to make. And sometimes we need partners out there to do that with, or others that we know of that'll be doing that with us. But know that at least from management and certainly throughout the council, we really keep an eye on that, and they're doing a great job in OEO, so.
Very good points. I know that they have been working on that with OEEO as well as procurement, and looking at the challenges for small businesses to get up to scale and how to kind of gradually make that happen. We appreciate the extra information regarding this.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anything else to your presentation before we take a vote?
No, Madam Chair.
Okay, so is there a motion to approve 2025-255 solid waste and recycling contract?
Madam Chair, I move approval with one change, just to add that it's a 3-year contract.
Yeah.
Pardon me, a
Just with one addition to the report that it's a 3-year contract.
three-year contract, yes.
Thank you, Madam
Very
Chair.
good addition. I think we can accept that. Is there a second with that exception? That
Second.
addition? It's been seconded by Tony Carter. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nay. That motion carries. We have one final non-consent business item, and that is 2025-256 North Star Replacement Service for Big Lake and Elk River. Coming up is Adam Harrington. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, council members. Adam Harrington, Director of Service Development. And this item before you today is to enter into an agreement with MnDOT, who is interested in having replacement service provided for the commuter rail park and rides at Big Lake and Elk River. So to provide a little bit of background on what we are doing, Metro Transit service that we are operating starting January 5th, 2026 includes Route 888, which we spent quite a bit of time reviewing with you and the public over the past few months, serving Ramsey, Anoka, Coon Rapids stations, express to downtown Minneapolis. We'll run every half hour in the rush hour and every hour all day long, both directions. And then Route 827 will have additional service to supplement service at Fridley Station and make a connection at the Anoka Station as well. So this is the platform that we're operating for Metro Transit, and I just want to distinguish this as different than what MnDOT is asking for here. So MnDOT requested Metro Transit to develop with them a service to provide express bus service to downtown Minneapolis, serving the Big Lake and Elk River Park and Ride areas. The council does not have the authority to operate its own service outside the 7-county metro area, but OGC has determined that we're able to be a contractor to someone else, which is the case here. So MnDOT has requested us to work with them to develop this service. The proposed service would be a 2-year agreement using coach buses and regional express fares, remembering that what we're trying to do with MnDOT is help them capture the current North Star riders, so using their same fare products on these vehicles, and continue to evaluate that service over the course of the 2-year period. It would be 3 trips in each direction, serving the primary work start times. As you may recall, there are 3 trips today on North Star, serving downtown Minneapolis with a transfer at Target Field. The travel time estimate's about 77 minutes from Big Lake and 51 from Elk River to the core of downtown. Fairly similar to what that is with North Star Commuter Rail when you account for the transfer to light rail at Target Field into downtown. And we're developing the trip times with MnDOT's review right now so that we would be able to start the service on January 5th, 2026 and offer that transition to the North Star customers. So the proposed action is that the Metropolitan Council authorizes the regional administrator to negotiate and execute contract number 25I-100, joint powers agreement with MnDOT and the council to operate commuter express bus service between Elk River, Big Lake, and downtown Minneapolis at no net cost to the council. I'm happy to take questions.
Any questions? Councilmember Carter?
Yeah, question, are there, is this the first time we've, I'm assuming it's not, that we've partnered with MnDOT on bus service like this, or?
Madam Chair, Council Member, we actually have partnered with MnDOT in another case that I'm familiar with, and that is they supported us financially on 35W South when their project closed access to downtown Minneapolis during their construction of 35W South. So we had a service agreement with them that I think was between 2016, 17, and 18.
Okay, so this is very similar to that?
It's a different kind of agreement, but we have a good working relationship with them. This would be more similar to agreements we've had with Anoka County or Maple Grove, where we're also a contractor in those situations.
Well, I'm glad to see the flexibility.
Yeah, so the key point is that we're working as a contracted service, yeah.
Correct.
Councilmember Johnson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to thank you, Adam. You took about 15 minutes worth of questions with me before this, and I do really appreciate this and I fully support it. And I just want to, make one note too. It's 3 trips a day in each direction, and, it's not trips to the Vikings or the Twins Stadium. It's really about getting people back to work into downtown. So it's trying to mirror that, North Star transportation options for folks, but it's different in that it's really honing in kind of on our regular bus service that we operate, but in this case, we're a contractor. So I think it's a good move to make, and we'll see how it works.
I have a question regarding the rush hour times. They're listed specifically for 882, not listed specifically for 888. Are those the same times?
Madam Chair, they're not the same times.
Okay.
Our official fair rush hour period starts at 6 a.m. and goes to 9 a.m. And so for the 888, we'll be spanning that entire time frame. When we're looking at the 882, these are the rough times that we were thinking about for the arrivals in downtown Minneapolis and departures. Since there are only 3 trips, we want to make sure that we're serving the 3 most prevalent trips that people desire. So that's where we're aiming at here.
Thank you. Councilmember Osman.
Thank you. I just want to know that if this is the first kind of a contract that the Metro Transit will operate outside the 7th county, or whether there is another similar contract before that?
Madam Chair, Council Member, this would be the first time that Metro Transit would operate a contract outside the 7th county metro area.
Any other questions? Okay, with that, if there are no further questions and we're completed with the presentation, you can read the proposed action unless you'd like me to.
That the Metropolitan Council authorizes the regional administrator to negotiate and execute contract number 25-100, a joint powers agreement with MnDOT to for the council to operate commuter express bus service between Big Lake, Elk River, and downtown Minneapolis at no net cost to the council.
It's been moved by Councilmember Osmond, second. Seconded by Councilmember Johnson. Any further discussion?
Madam Chair, just one thing.
Yes.
I just want to mention too, and again, thanks to Adam for answering all my questions, but a few years back, we might have had the question about, do we have enough operators? Do we have enough equipment? And he's assured me that we are in good shape for all of that. And so that was just one of those things that if you've been on the council long enough, you see those kinds of trends too, but we're in really good position to do this as the contractor, so it won't negatively impact any of the other things we're trying to do with network now.
And it's a good collaboration effort
Yes.
as well. Thank you. Any further questions, comments? Without any, I'd like to ask for a motion to approve the proposed action. Is there?
I got it.
Oh, I'm sorry. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That motion carries. So we do not have any information items. So I'd like to see if everyone is okay to have the item on consent number 2 and the rest go to non-consent. Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll take care of that. If there are no other updates, then I will call this meeting as adjourned.